built my first library before I was old enough to drive or vote. At the age of 12, I gave away thousands of books and fought for communities who never stopped being readers. And I am here today to tell you something that librarians aren't allowed to say. Bad libraries shouldn't exist. University of Texas, Professor R. David Lenz has said that bad libraries build collections, good libraries build services, and great libraries build communities. Sometimes when we are away or when we fail to recognize a resource, we stay away from it. But when we get closer to it, do we discover how magnificently powerful it is? Imagine this. A seed may seem so small, dry, and insignificant. But a farmer understands within that tiny seed lies the potential to become a huge tree that gives shade, fruit, and life. And I believe libraries are like that seed that have enormous power to build, shape, and nurture communities across the globe. So, what is a library? Imagining a library is not a great task for most of us, but for some who cannot afford an education where books and quiet spaces are luxury, it is an elusive dream. Now, I want you all to imagine a library at this moment. You are probably thinking of a quiet, dark place which harbors destined data with a very rude old librarian with glasses who hushes you all the time. But my library doesn't fit into the mold of what you're imagining. I believe that reading is as significant as any other basic right we possess. Fresh air to breathe, clean water to drink, and safe shelter are all the basic physical necessities of life. But beyond that, we are in dire need of emotional, social, and intellectual support to live meaningfully. But then this brings us to our next problem. To consider reading as a basic necessity, I have to then understand whether reading has become a conditional activity or not. Growing up, I had a friend. She was an exceptionally intelligent student who liked to read a lot, and we used to sit for lunch together. Every year, I noticed when it was time to pay for the semester fees, her lunchbox would be empty. As a child, I didn't understand why she didn't eat. But as I grew older, I realized how her family used to cut down amount of food in order to meet the expenses of her education. For her, paying library membership fee is impossible. Reading for pleasure then becomes an economic burden to the family. Today, acquiring knowledge has become expensive and reading has turned into luxury. Unintentionally, these penalties and the monthly fees are discouraging financially disadvantaged students from accessing or utilizing the library services. And I believe this makes the joy of reading totally unnatural. Imagine a child excitedly going up to a library, picking up a book that he or she always wanted to read, bringing it home with so much joy, devouring it passionately, and returning it with so much happiness. Free public libraries can bring back this happiness. Spaces where anyone, irrespective of caste, class, gender, or social constraint, could freely come and pick up a book without unnecessary protocols or rigid rules and regulations. The bigger case for the public libraries lays in the fact that we own them. They belong to us. The Karnataka Public Libraries Act 1965, Kerala Gazette 2022, and Haryana Public Libraries Act 1989 all mention a 5 to 6% of library cess acquired for maintaining library. So public libraries are already funded by public, by our money, our tax, our cess, and our contribution. In these states, citizens fund these spaces whether they ever walk through the doors or not. So when a library charges for a membership fee, it isn't just an inconvenience. It is asking you to pay for something that you have already paid for. This is why I initiated a grassroots level concept of free public library, which celebrates community. The library I dreamed was not just a physical place with color-coded books alphabetically stacked. Instead, it is a platform for equality, empowerment, and social transformation. Because these libraries are where people gather to read, to learn together. I don't want libraries to be silent places anymore. I want them to be the loudest place in the community where the people can turn a deaf ear to. My public library in Kerala, Ernakulam, hosts a lot of annual summer camps and workshops for children. So my neighbor thinks that I run a daycare. The boy who lives across my street thinks that my library is an internet cafe because I provide a lot of free services like building portfolios or helping them applying for scholarships, etc. And I also take tuitions at my library, so people for a while thought that I was running an educational academy. And my library also facilitates a lot of philanthropic and charity activity, so people mistake it for an NGO. This is what we need, a change in perspective. A change in perspective or transformation. A perspective to transform ordinary places into multifunctional community libraries. As a result, I see a lot of new friendship blooming among children who come by, elders discussing politics, youngsters often gossiping, and working individuals relaxing and putting aside their working pressure. And sometimes for them, I'm not just a librarian, but I'm a friend, a sister, a daughter, a colleague, or even an unpaid therapist. Every great library in the history started with one person who refused to believe that knowledge only belonged to some people. Today, that person can be you. My dear friends, build an idea from scratch, organize books, events, and use that to bring your community together. Your time starts now. Thank you.